One of the things that we didn't go over when talking about soft body dynamics is the use of point sets. So let's take this opportunity to build this once again from scratch. I'm going to go in my camera view. We want to keyframe with our object in the center, moving the object off so it just comes flying in. Apply under our Dynamics tab the soft dynamics, and as it comes in, our operators are making the thing bounce up and down. Previously we applied different operators to the weights and to the surfaces. We also have something called point sets, or sometimes known as selection sets. And that's just another way of isolating one section from the other. In this instance, I have one set, and you can see it's highlighted, called even, and then another selection called odd. And I'm going to give them a little bit different values. And we'll calculate this, and you can see how the letters are separated out. It's still the single object, and still different things are applied. And as we scrub this, we can see how the operators are operating differently on the different point sets. Let's take a look in Modeler and see how these point sets are applied. We have our basic object here. Now on the bottom we have a number of letters, W, T, M, C, S. S stands for point set. You create a point set by selecting points and then selecting new. So let's go in and let's say select our O's and the sometimes Y. I'm going to select connected. There it is. I usually just use the hotkey. Create a new one and just call this one vowels. Vowels. Okay. So now I have a new point set. I synchronize this with layout and then switch to layout. I should see in here a new point set, sure enough, called vowels, which will only affect, now the operator will only affect those vowels. I probably have to recalculate. Yes, I do. And I'm going to recalculate, and sure enough, now this is using point sets. And one thing I should point out is we have these different ways of controlling it. We have point sets, weight maps, and surfaces. It doesn't need to be just point sets. I can have, let's say, point sets and, let's see, end weights. And look at that. We don't even have to recalculate. It thinks about it for us. It is surprisingly easy to use. And you need to know how to do point sets and weight maps and surfaces anyway. And since you already have that knowledge in your brain, you might as well apply it to your dynamics. You can see we're getting a pretty complex motion here. Now we just have this all along. We've pretty much just had it moving down. And I'm just going to go back to my perspective view, so I can see what I'm going to do next, which is just rotate the object to give it a little bit more snap when it flies in. Now off screen I have my FX browser. I bring this up by going to my utilities, additional FX browser. It's just really handy because I can add my collision objects, or I can hit my start button. I'm moving it off the screen just to get it out of the way so we can see what's happening. An important concept to remember is once it's calculated, it knows all the information. It doesn't need to be recalculated. It's not recalculating it every time you render a frame. It's in there. And we can see it move. I mean, this may take a few moments. Once again, to repeat, if I want to stop this, I hit my control button on my keyboard and it stops the calculation. And we can see this comes flying in. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. And, you know, without soft body dynamics, this would have taken you a while. And if this is lasting too long, you just go in and you adjust your operator. Or if it's too pronounced or not enough, go right in and change your operators. And this is just using soft body dynamics. Sometimes you can use it instead of cloth. You know, sometimes it'll fit the bill. And remember, with the using weight maps, say you're doing a skirt, you could use soft body with just the skirt, and it will. You can set a weight map so you know it's very, you know, the weight map is 0, like up by the belt, and once it gets past the belt, your weight map is much stronger, so it reacts more. And soft effects will also react to collision objects. So if I want to add a collision to this, actually there's 2 steps that need to be done to add a collision to this. I'm going to use my effects browser and just simply add a collision object. And I'll have to keyframe it so it comes moving in. Go to my perspective view. Go to my modify, move it off there for now. My object come in. Up over here. Then just move it past. If I calculate this right now, the collision object will not do anything because I have not told the soft body object to respect collision. So it's moving right through, but it's not really doing anything. In fact, I want that to move a lot slower, so I'm going to scooch this keyframe down to 90. There we go. I need to go into my soft body object and under deform, collision detect, and once again I can use my weight maps, my point selections, or even my surfaces. I'm just going to select all, and this is going to need to be calculated. I think I'm going to take a quick look at the top here to make sure. Oh, look at that. I don't even have my collision object moving in. So we will need to do that. It's not affecting it now. I will have to calculate this out. So the collision object is calculated running into my soft body object as it's wobbling through space. Personally, I have not had a whole lot of luck with collision objects using soft body. As you can see right here, it's driving it all crazy as it hits. The object is being terribly deformed, but it most likely is just the fact that a text object is not the best subject for a collision object. It's kind of cool, you know, it's snapping back together, but that is how you apply collision and point sets to a soft body object. Here's my collision, here's my soft body, and you can use all the settings that you did before. You can apply only to the weights, or only to the point sets, or only to certain surfaces.